Greetings and welcome to a very special Weird Wednesday episode in which we are venturing into outer space in the fantastic Kerbal Space Program, a massive favourite game of mine. I love this game. I've been playing the early access, I don't know, for like a year and a half or something, through various versions. Love it to bits. I've never done a video on it before, but look, it is version 1.0.0.830 apparently. From Squad, it came out, it was released, the full version, the release version I should say, version 1 on Monday, which is of course the day I'm recording this. Oh, and I'm very excited. Apparently we've got new aerodynamics, we've got all sorts of stuff. No mods installed at all, so we're going to start a new game. I'm not going to do a career mode game right now because A, this is a Weird Wednesday episode, and B, I'm sure there are going to be like a million people starting career mode playthroughs on YouTube, so we're just going to do a sandbox and have a little play around. We're going to have a little play around. I am, of course, Weird Wizard. I haven't put my flag or anything in. Next time I will. For now, let's just have what looks like a cool wizardy type flag. Is there anything that looks like a cool wizardy type flag? We can have this because it's got a bit of purple in it. I think that's the only one with a bit of purple in, so that's what we're going to do. I should obviously put in a special flag, but I haven't. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Space Center. Thanks. I know my way around. Right, well, what are we going to do? I haven't really thought it through. I've just fired this up for the first time, it being Monday, the new update having come in. We could try and launch a rocket first, I suppose. We could try and put a satellite into space. We'll build a rocket. I know we've got new aerodynamics to play with, but hopefully we'll see them happening here in the vehicle assembly room as well. Right, we'll just build a standard rocket, shall we? In fact, let's go to the moon. Because we choose to go to the mun. We choose to go to the mun and do the other things, not because it is easy, although it is quite easy in KSP if you know what you're doing. And so we're going to do it. Having said that, now we will probably fail. Right, we're going to need like fairings and stuff, aren't we? Let's build our lander first, shall we? Where is our lander? We'll do a kind of I don't know what it is. I don't know how to rotate it anymore. I think we might have to make do without rotating parts at all, ever. Maybe we could like just build it from here. We can do that. We can do that. That's what we're gonna do. Look, we're gonna get some decouplers. We just need a little decoupler here, and then we need this thing to have a fuel tank to land on the mun. So let's give us a fuel tank here. Give it like a fairly reasonable supply of fuel. This is not going to be Scott Manley levels of efficiency or sort of thought out design. I'm not going to be calculating my delta V or anything like that. It's literally just going to be seat of the pants. Hopefully it'll work and get us down on the mun safe and sound. Let's get fourfold symmetry like so. Land. Oh, there's loads of new cool stuff. We're not going to play with any of the new cool stuff. Like I said, there's going to be a ton of people who know this game a lot better than I do, doing lots of cool stuff, and showing off all of the new like tools and facilities and everything. I am just going to. Should we stick these on? I don't know if this is a good idea. Should we stick them on there like that? Oh, we better not. It's the moon, right? It's the mun. We actually don't need a ladder. We can just jetpack down to it and jetpack up. So there we go. We'll do it like that. We could maybe go for just threefold symmetry on the engines, or even twofold symmetry would probably be enough. But tough. We're doing fourfold. We've already done it, and we're not changing our minds now because we are Kerbals. And when we make our minds up, nothing, not even logic, sense, or reason, will persuade us. Let's put a small reaction wheel on this just to give us a bit of reaction control. We will also want some solar panels probably. Here we go. Photovoltaic panels. We let's have just two on either side to fold out. We'll also want a couple just on the command module here, because it's going to want its own electric charge to keep the Kerbals who stay in orbit, because only one Kerbal can actually go down in this. We could maybe stick some seats on it so the others could go down as well. Should we do that? They go like that, right? Is that right? That's the way we're going to put them on. And we're going to hope that that works. Good. I think this is capable of landing on the moon. It's been a long time since I've done it, but we've got landing legs, we've got electric power. We could maybe put some batteries in case we wind up in darkness. Or maybe even fuel cells. These are new looks. Just on the top. Just put a fuel cell right on the top. Like that. To provide electric charge if and when we need it. I don't know if that's just going to constantly drain it. I guess we could probably turn it off if we need to. RCS, we haven't got any RCS on this thing, so maybe we should put some RCS on as well before we call the lander done. That's just a little, makes us a little bit taller and a little bit more top heavy, but it gives us our RCS fuel. So let's put some RCS engines on. And that should give us more or less a reasonable amount of RCS control. Should we need it, mostly the reaction control wheel will probably do the job for us. So we're probably over-engineering this massively. Bam, like that. Lots of radio parachutes. Ready to fire off once we get back to Kerbin. Hopefully they will be alright. We will need a heat shield. Don't know where we find heat shields now. Aerodynamic, maybe? Oh, maybe these are. Heat shield, there we go, look. Heat shield. That's too small. 3.75, that's too big. 2.5, that's the baby, that's what we want. Right, good, we've got our heat shield in place. Now we need decoupler for this main section. Good. And then we need our sort of moon booster. Maybe like a poodle. Let's have a poodle. We'll put a poodle on there. And then we need another decoupler. We're going to go for like some kind of asparagus setup here. Like a fat rocket. It's not going to be like fully asparagus staged, to be fair. Like I said, this isn't a Scott Manley level of design here. I tend to just stick stuff on and hope that it works. We'll just add a little bit of extra fuel to each of these because I think they could maybe do with a little bit of extra fuel, couldn't they? Like just one of these on top. There we go. And now if we take, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. We want a fuel line now. These are going to run to these. And then these are going to run to these. And so we want these and these to all fire at the same time to lift us up. But we want these to be in a stage here. So when these engines burn out, we jettison that stage. Yeah. And then when these engines burn out, we jettison that stage. At which point we are on to this engine, which can actually be firing the whole time as well. And that should be enough to get us to the moon and back. He says, with great confidence. Let's strut everything up. Let's put some aerodynamics on. We're going to put some canards on. Just to give us a bit of flight control. Large reaction wheel in to give us reaction control. And that should be enough. And then we should also probably give it fuel cells. Should we give it a couple of fuel cells? I don't know if that... I've never used them before, so I don't know if it's going to be a lot or not. Fine, right, there we go. That is the rocket. That is it. It is ready to fly to the moon, I think. Have I forgotten anything? Probably. Been a long time since I played this. Let's fit some launch clamps. We are going to go to the moon, and we're going to prove that it is, in fact, extremely easy. This is going to be the Wizard X. Great. Wizard X Mark 1 moon rocket. Oh wait, before we got to deal with the new aerodynamic systems, we need protective airstream thing. Do we put it in here? Hold on. Okay, we go out like this, and then come on. Place there. Yes, very good. And then in to a point. Done. Oh, look at the beauty of it, the way it collapses out. So there's our rocket with a launch shroud for the first time ever. I never actually played with any of the mods. I did try and play with some of the mods that added launch shrouds, but look, it's so fat. It's such an ugly rocket. You just got this massive launch shroud just go out at the top, like this massive bloated tip, and this just squat rocket. It doesn't stand a chance of getting to the moon, does it? It doesn't stand a hope in hell. before we go, very important, of course, is we want a new Kerbanaut, Valentina Kermin, on board. Obviously, we want Bill, and should we just replace Jeb with Valentina? Should we do it? We're going to do it. Valentina, you are going to take the maiden flight. Jeb, you're just going to stay home. You have had plenty of maiden flights. Plenty of flights to all sorts of crazy places. We don't need 2 pilots. At the end of the day, 1 pilot, 1 engineer, 1 scientist. That is the right course of action. Fantastic. Let's launch. And here we are on this beautiful day at the Kerbin Launch Center, ready to watch these Wizard X's maiden flight, in which we will attempt to fly to the Moon. Activate SAS. Valentina Kermin is, of course, the pilot in charge of the spacecraft throughout the flying experience. Throughout the flight. If it fails, it's not her fault. It really is my fault. Look, I almost didn't catch this. We're gonna separate, and then we'll have to launch. Then we'll have to fire the rockets. I could just map these down, but I think it could be quite entertaining to try that. So here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Launch! And fire the rockets! And up we go! Nice work, Valentina. And a beautiful launch of this stubby, ridiculous-looking rocket. Throttle down to about 50% because we are still in the thick part of the atmosphere and we don't want to burn through our fuel too quickly. I'd be amazed, actually, if we do make it to the Moon on this because... I don't know. We've got a lot of thrust on this thing. I think our problem, if we have one, is going to be fuel rather than anything else. But nonetheless, we haven't put anything to manage the airflow around these. So these flat tips to the rocket, to the fuel tanks, is just going to be slowing us down quite a bit. But once we're up out of the main thick part of the atmosphere, hopefully that won't have too much of an issue for us. It won't be causing too much of an issue for us. Anyway, we are burning on up to 10,000 meters, where we would begin our roll. We're just going to let these engines burn out before we do that, and they have burnt out, so we're going to separate, dial it up to 100%, and begin our pitch over maneuver. Roger, Wizard X, we read your pitch over. Satisfactory. I'm going to pitch over to about 40 degrees, I think, and let's roll so that we are, just so that we can say this. Roger, roll, Wizard X. There we go. We have rolled, and we continue to burn on up into orbit. We're actually doing really well. Look, we've got tons of fuel left. 25,000 meters. Vertical velocity is pretty high, look. And look, our speed is also pretty high and going up. We've passed through the sound barrier, but I guess we're so high up in the atmosphere, we're not getting any Mach effects off of that. We're just burning on up. Once we're out of the atmosphere, we'll be able to separate this. Oh, look, there it is. I guess, I don't know when that is actually going to happen at the same time as we fire up this rocket. So let's add in another one there, and we'll do it after we separate from that section. And we've burnt out, so we're going to lose our 2 boosters there and carry on burning on up. We're at 58,000, doing 1,600. Let's take a look at the map. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh yeah, look. We're actually gonna cut thrust, and we're just gonna coast up to here. Put a maneuver node in to take us into orbit. Just want a fairly simple little orbit there. It's actually a relatively high orbit, 145, much higher than we really need it to be. But we weren't paying attention. Valentina, why weren't you paying attention? Were you waiting for me to tell you to do something? Because that's not necessarily a good idea. Oh, let's have a look at the IVAs. Can we do that? Where is it? Orbital chase locked. Auto. IVAs. I think this is in fact the same. This is the same old IVA for this one. There's Valentina, is it? With Bob or somebody next to her, and Bill down below, or something like that. One or the other. Whoa! A little bit of wibble wobble. Good. Well, we're well up into space, so let's do this shroud just now. Okay, deploy the shroud. Oh, look at it! Look at it falling away beautifully, revealing our Mun lander in all of its glory. How far are we off our maneuver node here? Let's just do a bit of time warp to get to it. Good. There we go. Close enough. Oh, we should deploy our solar panels. Extend panels. Extend panels. so that we're getting a bit of solar energy here. And where is our maneuver? This is where I wish I had a RCS on it, actually. With all of this like massive tank of fuel on the back end, it's moving pretty slowly. Right. Oh, we're just gonna cheat. Sorry. We just cheated a little bit to arrest our rotational momentum. Is that actually our maneuver node? I think it is. I thought it was the other way around, but I guess not. Okay, here we go. Estimated burn is 1 minute 40 seconds. That's actually quite a long burn, but we've got tons of fuel. Look, we've got basically all of this fuel, and we've got still our next stage ready to go. Should be more than enough. This may even be able to give us our kick towards the moon, which would be awesome if that were to be indeed the case. Where is the moon? We need to kind of start our thing when it's just rising, I think. Isn't that how you do it? We start it like here somewhere. We left our burn a little bit late, so we're going to be losing a little bit of altitude, but we've got tons. Oh no, we actually want this to be up this way. Not ultimate maximum efficiency as you might be used to and familiar with if you watch Scott Manley, for example, once again, who's a fantastic YouTuber, by the way. The reason I keep mentioning him is because he's like the go-to guy for Kerbal Space Program, at least for me anyway. I mean, he's the only Kerbal Space Program player, regular Kerbal Space Program player who I watch on YouTube, and I absolutely love his series. And if you haven't watched him, I recommend you go and check him out, especially if you like Kerbal Space Program, because he's got some fantastic videos, a couple of fantastic series actually. Interstellar Program, his reusable space program, they're all fantastic, they're all awesome, and well worth checking out if you get a chance. Alright, we've nearly completed our burn here. That'll do, quite frankly. That's you know, it's a bit of a weird orbit, but it doesn't come back into Kerbin. So right, we want to, I think this is where we want it. Just as it's, if you like line it up with the horizon, and we want to add our maneuver node here, and that should give us, look, there we go, that should give us an encounter with the moon. We want one with the least amount of energy, about there. What's that? Right there, like that. Look, let's just use it. That'll do. We should have plenty of fuel to do this. I think we wound up with like a massive, huge excess of delta V for this whole process. I say that actually, we're going to burn. What's this burn? Another 1 minute 17 seconds. So we're going to use up this liquid fuel completely, and we're going to be onto our main engine, like our reserve, whatever this tank here. We're going to be on this tank here. Right. Anyway, let's speed up time. We want to start our burn when we've got about 30 seconds left here. Arcing around beautifully through Kerbin. None of the I haven't got any of the sort of beautification mods and stuff installed, but I will be checking all that stuff out in due course. There's loads of fantastic mods, I have to say, for this game. I mean, the modding scene for Kerbal Space Program is one of the best modding scenes around. Ready? We're going to stop our time acceleration now. A little bit more now. There we go. Let us hove in on our maneuver node here. Look, we've actually got a little arrow telling us which way to go. Is that new to, or has that been in for a while? I don't know. I haven't played this game really a lot in the beta phase. I played it mostly back. What was it, like version 0.24 or something? I think was the main version that I played. Right, here we go. Fire up the engine. Full burn. We are going to be. We're lighting the candle and letting the thrust, the 2.5 million pounds of thrust, or whatever it is that this engine generates, hurl us out from Kerbin orbit towards the Mun. For the first time during the full release in this particular subset universe on my system, I will be sending Kerbals to the Mun. I mean, the atmospherics, I didn't really notice any difference there. I think it's meant to be a lot slipperier. It's the term I've seen bandied around, like you can move. There we go, look, we've burnt out the main engine. Fire up the next engine. little bit longer burn on this one, but that's fine. Because it's only a poodle, hopefully it won't be burning through the fuel anywhere near as quickly as that main engine, so we shouldn't use up too much of the tank in that time. Let's try and keep the maneuver node set fairly well. Now, Kerbal Space Program, of course, now in full release, but for a long time it was, in my mind, probably one of the most, if not the most successful, in terms of delivery, early access games around. I mean, it wasn't that the development process was particularly quick, it's that it was a great game right from the beginning, you know, and the fact that they had really good mod support helped an awful lot, because even when the devs weren't necessarily releasing huge amounts of content regularly, modders were. So you constantly felt like there was new cool stuff happening, you know, and it was always worth kind of playing the game, and you could always just dive in and play it. Personally, I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the contract system and the way career mode works. I'm waiting for somebody to come up with a more of a kind of, I think we've done our burn. I think we actually slightly overcooked our burn there because I was busy talking to you. But it's okay. Look, we're going to get into the sphere of influence of the Mun. So let us watch as our tiny spacecraft hurtles away from her mother planet with Valentina Kerman in command. Still, Bill and Bob doing their thing, the engineer and the scientist, as we hurtle towards the companion, the celestial companion of this great orb, the Mun. The target of so many hopes and dreams of Kerbalkind. What will we find here on the surface of this other world? Alright. Look, I think it actually stopped the time warp for us then, because maybe it didn't, I don't know. That's good, that's fine. What we actually want to do, look, is we want to put a maneuver in here, and we want to break ourselves into orbit. Because the command section is going to stay in orbit, that'll do. And the lander is going to head down. So we'll line up on our maneuver node. Node in T-minus 58 minutes and 32 seconds. That is absolutely fine. We can time warp the rest of the way. I think you can actually warp to node now. I'm not sure how you do that. I think you might have to do it from the map. 56 minutes, 55, 54, 50, as we hurtle in towards the Mun. 12 minutes, 10.985. We want to get down to about a minute and a bit. There we go. Fire up the engines. We're going to use up a lot of fuel though. We may or may not have enough to get home. If we don't, it doesn't matter. We could send a rescue mission. That's all part of the fun of Kerbal Space Program. The fact that we've even just made it here, and I haven't played this game in like a year, at least a year, and obviously a lot has changed. And yet, you know, I have managed to build a rocket, quickly cobble it together, and send it into orbit around the Mun. Look, we are now in orbit. We can car thrust right there. Look, board. We have made it to the Mun. The landing will have to wait because I have to stop. Great.